Hey everyone, Daniel here. If you're even remotely interested in Bitcoin, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into one of the most heated debates in the crypto world right now. How high can Bitcoin go by 2025? Experts have been throwing out some mind-blowing numbers, and some of them might just shock you. But here's the twist. While some analysts are projecting insane highs, others are warning of a totally different scenario. So, which is it? A groundbreaking bull run or a massive crash? Stick around because I'm about to break down the facts, predictions, and the hidden factors no one is talking about. Now, before we get into the numbers, let's rewind a bit. If you think about it, Bitcoin's journey so far has been nothing short of a roller coaster. Back in 2009, it was just an experiment, a niche project for tech enthusiasts. Fast forward to today, and it's an undeniable force in the financial world. But why? What made Bitcoin go from worthless digital coins to a trillion-dollar asset class? Well, it all boils down to two things: adoption and scarcity. You see, the limited supply of 21 million Bitcoins creates this powerful dynamic. As more people want a piece of it, the price inevitably climbs. And that's where it gets really interesting, especially when you factor in the halving events. In case you're new to this, Bitcoin undergoes a halving roughly every 4 years. That means the reward miners get for processing transactions is cut in half. It's a big deal because it directly impacts the supply, making Bitcoin scarcer over time. The next halving is set for 2024, and historically, this event has triggered massive bull runs. Think about it. In 2012, the first halving took Bitcoin from around $12 to over $1,000 in just a year. In 2016, it surged from about $650 to nearly $20,000. And the most recent halving in 2020? We saw Bitcoin shoot up from around $9,000 to an all-time high of nearly $69,000 within the following year. So, the big question on everyone's mind: will 2024's halving spark the same explosive growth? But wait, it's not just the halving that could drive Bitcoin's price to new heights. There's another factor most people are overlooking: institutional investment. We're talking about major financial players entering the market, from hedge funds to corporate treasuries. Remember when Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin? That single move alone sent shockwaves through the financial world. Or how about when MicroStrategy made Bitcoin their primary treasury asset? These aren't isolated incidents. More and more big players are seeing Bitcoin as digital gold, a hedge against inflation. And that's just the beginning. Experts are speculating that we could see entire nations holding Bitcoin as part of their national reserves. Imagine the impact that could have on price. If Bitcoin becomes a staple in global finance, hitting six figures might not just be a dream. It could be a reality. But here's the kicker. It's not all sunshine and moonshots. Some analysts are sounding the alarm, predicting a correction that could wipe out a large chunk of Bitcoin's value. Why? Regulation. Governments around the world are catching up to crypto, and their decisions could make or break the next bull run. Take the US, for instance. The SEC has been tightening its grip, and if regulatory pressure mounts, we could see significant turbulence. It's not just the US either. China's crackdown on mining, India's proposed crypto ban. These are factors that could slow down Bitcoin's growth, or at least make the journey to $100,000 a lot bumpier than most enthusiasts hope. So, where does that leave us? Are we on the brink of another historic rally or a brutal crash? The truth is, no one knows for sure. But by analyzing the patterns, adoption rates, and institutional moves, we can make some educated guesses. But before I reveal the most optimistic and the most pessimistic predictions for Bitcoin in 2025, there's one more crucial element we need to consider: the macroeconomic landscape. Stick around because in just a moment I'm going to break down how global inflation, rising interest rates, and even political tensions could impact Bitcoin's trajectory. You won't want to miss this part because it could completely change how you see the next few years for Bitcoin. So buckle up. We're just getting started. All right, let's pick up right where we left off. Now, let's talk about the macroeconomic landscape and how it could shape Bitcoin's future. You see, one of the biggest factors driving Bitcoin's price isn't just adoption or halving. It's the global economy itself. Think about it. Inflation is hitting record highs in several countries. Central banks are raising interest rates to combat it. That means traditional assets like stocks and bonds are becoming more volatile and less appealing. So, where do people turn? Alternative assets. And Bitcoin, being digital gold, fits the bill perfectly. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin's narrative as a hedge against inflation is still debated. Some analysts argue that in times of economic crisis, people might actually sell off their crypto holdings to cover expenses, especially if unemployment rates rise. So, does Bitcoin act like a safe haven asset or just another risky investment? The answer isn't straightforward. Historically, during economic downturns, gold tends to perform well. Bitcoin? Well, it's still too young to have a clear pattern. Now let's move on to the optimistic side of things. Some experts are throwing around jaw-dropping price predictions for Bitcoin in 2025. One of the most bullish forecasts comes from Cathie Wood of ARK Invest, who believes Bitcoin could hit $500,000 or even more. Why? Because as institutional adoption grows, Bitcoin could become a staple in the portfolios of major funds and even central banks. Imagine if a small percentage of global wealth flowed into Bitcoin. The impact would be staggering. Another key point is the role of decentralized finance, DeFi. As more financial services become decentralized, Bitcoin could become the backbone of a new financial system. This could massively increase its utility and, by extension, its value. But let's not get carried away. There are also bearish perspectives that suggest Bitcoin could face severe headwinds. Some skeptics believe that if governments develop central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, Bitcoin's appeal as a decentralized currency could diminish. Take China's digital yuan, for instance. It's being promoted as a state-backed digital currency, and if other countries follow suit, Bitcoin might face more competition than ever before. But here's something to think about. Even if CBDCs become mainstream, Bitcoin's decentralized nature and limited supply make it fundamentally different from state-controlled digital currencies. It's not just a payment method, it's an asset class. Now here's where it gets really interesting. A growing number of experts believe that even if governments crack down on Bitcoin, they won't be able to fully eliminate it. Why? Because it's decentralized. No single entity controls it, making it resilient to censorship and regulation. And that's precisely why Bitcoin's future might be more secure than most people think. Even if there's regulatory backlash, the network itself remains strong. This is why some analysts predict that despite short-term turbulence, Bitcoin will ultimately recover and thrive. Now, as we're getting to the final part, let's address one last question. How should you prepare for Bitcoin's uncertain future? The key here is diversification. While Bitcoin may see massive gains, it's still crucial not to put all your eggs in one basket. That's why many seasoned investors hold a mix of assets: Bitcoin, altcoins, stocks, and even commodities. Another strategy is dollar-cost averaging. Investing a fixed amount regularly, regardless of the price. This strategy reduces the risk of buying at a peak and can help you build a strong position over time. But no matter what strategy you choose, remember this: the crypto market is inherently volatile. You should only invest what you're willing to lose. And finally, as we wrap up, here's something to ponder. If Bitcoin really does reach $500,000 by 2025, how would that change your life? Would you take profits, hold for longer, or diversify into other assets? Thinking ahead now could help you make more rational decisions when the time comes. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We'll keep bringing you the latest on crypto, Bitcoin, and the future of finance. Stay curious, stay informed, and as always, happy investing. Catch you in the next one.